Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at one of my most wished-for Funko Pop lines ever, and we finally got it, Ghostbusters Funko Pops. Now, you may have noticed, number 107, Winston's not there. That's because he's coming out a little bit later with the Ecto-1 box set. Well, let's take a closer look at the packaging, at least of this one here, because they're all very similar, and this one's a little bigger. You got artwork on the side, all of them on the back, including a little look at Winston there. 30th anniversary logo. So yeah, let's start off with taking a look at Venkman. Now, Venkman, for the most part, turned out really good. Now, there are a couple little things I'd like to point out to you before we celebrate how awesome this is. The first one is the lettering on his chest. You'll see on some of the other ones that it's very cleanly black with red lettering, but the lettering on this is slightly off to the right, which creates like a little halo-y effect. You can see there's like a little shadow behind it. That's the color of this jumpsuit. And also his shirt line is off. I got it because this one had the cleanest eyeball and paint for the hairline. And to me, his head was more important than any glitches on his outfit. But it looks great. And if you look at his hairline, there's nothing really to complain about. The tuft in the front looks good. And the detail on these outfits are really impressive. Take a closer look at his proton pack here. You can see like how well painted it is. Like none of the red circles are kind of smeared out. And for a stylized figure, the detail on the proton pack is pretty well done. I mean, if you want like more detail, you can go for like a 6-inch Mattel action figure. But for a pop, this is more detail than I was expecting. The logo on his arm looks really good. The paint on his pad is all right. But just the fact that like the proton gun is there, they included his gloves, looks really, really good. One little tiny detail though is that in the movie he was the only Ghostbuster that didn't tuck his boots, his pants into his boots. They hung over, but I think they just used the same legs as the other ones. Oh well. Alright, here's Ray Stanz, and one of the things I like about him is that they included his goggles. I mean, not only are they accurate to the character, but these are basically 4 guys all wearing the same outfits, and the goggles make him look a little more unique, make it look like they're not all the same figure. I like that the paint on this is pretty good. I saw some where the paint wasn't so clean, so be on the lookout for that, but I love the way his hair is sculpted in the front, and aside from a couple nicks here, the hairline is decent. It's perfectly serviceable paint job on the hair. Well, what's really good on this is his name tag. I want you guys to take a look at how it's supposed to look compared to Venkman with just the red perfectly clear against the black. One of the cool things too about this is they included different accessories for him to hold. He's got the ghost trap and a radio, and his gloves are folded a little differently. I love the detail on the belt that all these little hook rivets are painted on. They're not smeared. They're all really clean, very well done. I'm really happy with this figure a lot. I think this one turned out great. Up next, we got a look at Egon Spengler, played by the late, great Harold Ramis, and one of the things that I really like about this figure right up front is that they included different accessories. You know, Venkman and Ray and Egon all have different things in their hand, and I like that they include that to make them less similar to each other. And I think that it's great that Egon's got the PKE meter, and it looks really good. It's fairly simple, but I think it looks great. I also like seeing the proton pack with the wand attached to it compared to Venkman, where it's extended. I like having both of those versions available, and his gloves look good. The little lines around his belt, or the little dots, are a little more lined, less dotty, but I love even this little tiny little clip that's hanging from there. There's a lot of really good little details on this outfit. On all these outfits, I think the differences on these outfits, they really went the extra mile over at Funko to make sure these aren't redundant. So kudos to them on that. And I like that they included his glasses as like a separate outer piece. The paint on his hair is really good. Nothing to complain about with this figure, except for that the Ghostbusters logo is sideways on his arm, and his elbow pad's not painted that clean. But other than that, if you like Egon, I think this one's just adorable. No Ghostbusters line would be complete without Slimer, which was every kid's favorite. Now, you know, Funko did a really clever thing to make a figure who doesn't stand into a standing figure. I think the little slime gloops here as like a figure stand are really, really clever. One, it allows him to float, and two, the slime itself was a very big presence in the movie, and if you were a kid like in the 80s, you probably played with the little tub of Slimer goo, so I just got nostalgic over that. Now, his face has a couple little issues, at least with mine, is that the black does not cover the entire space of his mouth. There's some white paint visible past his tongue, and the The teeth paint kind of bleeds past his teeth line. But that's not enough to get me deterred from the figure. One of the reasons we got it is because the eyeballs were painted so well, and sometimes the bad smeary eyeballs can just ruin a figure more than like a little offsetting teeth can. But I mean, it's a really, really cool pose. I like the way his arms are out. I like the sculpt of not only like his little wibbly wobbly body, but just like the giant mouth, just like that giant screaming smile. I think this is a really, really clever and awesome pop. Alright, we're going to unbox this giant Stay Puft. Now, one of the things I like about this figure is that he's bigger than the regular Funko Pops. Obviously you can't make him to scale, that'd be crazy, but I appreciate the attempt to make him bigger. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is he's really flippin' cute. Just look at that face. They did a good job making him really, really cute. But I really like the fact that Stay Puft is well written. It's not smeared or anything. I like that this little part of the hat isn't painted on, that it's a sculpted piece. Now, be on the lookout for smeared eyes. I looked at about 11 of these, and like 9 of them had smeared eyes, black smeared eyes. It's really noticeable against white, and it seems to be happening with a lot of the ones that I saw, so be on the lookout for that. This is the cleanest face that I saw. There's also a lot with black smeared mouths. I'm not a huge fan of smearing, especially on the face, because that's kind of where the focal point is. I do like that his head has a little snout to it. That's a kind of cool sculpt. Also be on the lookout for the rest of his sailor outfit. There's a lot of red smearing out there. On top of the smearing of the red, I'm also seeing some blue that really bleeds down. This is the one that bled down past the least. This is the cleanest outfit that I saw. This is the best one I've seen. The sculpting on this, though, is really simple but very effective. I like his hands out. I like the way his legs are textured with the little, like, wrinkly nubs. I think this is an awesome figure. It's, I think maybe the best one of the series. And when people see it, they all kind of freak out when they see it, with good reason, because it's flippin' awesome. I originally wasn't planning on buying the Ecto-1 by Funko. I bought their 1966 Batmobile, and the wheels didn't even turn. It was a kind of cool looking hunk of plastic that a figure just stood in. And if the Ecto-1 was going to be anything like that, I was going to pass, even though it would look cool with these figures. Then it was announced that Winston was going to be available with the Ecto-1, and that would be the only way to get him. And damn it, they're getting my money. But that's not too bad, because it will look cool with all of them. But speaking of Winston's going to have the same body as Venkman, so while these are all different, I guess you're going to get a duplicate body. But hey, it's different because his hands are white and Winston's are black? I guess. One of the things I really like about these two is that their legs are in a different position. Egon's are straight down, Ray's got a straight left, and his right leg kind of kicks out, and then both his legs are bent. It's little things like that to me, it's nice that they paid attention that they're not identical figures from the waist down, even though they didn't have his pants go over his boots. That's a detail that I would like to have seen. But this series as a whole is flippin' awesome. I've been a Ghostbusters fan since I was like 6 years old, and I'm really, really happy to have these in my collection. I think Funko did an awesome job. I think Stay Puft turned out great. I'm really looking forward to variants on these figures, because I heard they're talking about doing a burnt Stay Puft and Marshmallow covered figures, and I think you definitely need to make Marshmallow covered figures ones. And I really think they should do a slimed Venkman too, but that's just me. I'm looking forward to all that. I think these are great. Thanks for watching.